the Arctic has, for the most part, it has always been strategically important, mainly to the countries that are located near the region, like Russia. I don't think that it's always been on many people's radar, just because prior to climate change or the serious effects of climate change, it was mainly ice. And I think people kind of viewed it as a place where they can't really do too much.
Before 1989, it's almost fair to say there was no geopolitical importance to the Arctic. It was the only people who paid attention to it were explorers and Russians, or Soviets as they then were, who used it as a place to hide their ballistic missile submarines. And so the Americans and the British, and to a very minor extent for a very short period of time, the French, would send submarines up there to provide a counter to that. To be honest, the Russians didn't place submarines up there very often. They demonstrated that they could fire through the ice. They surfaced a couple of Delta-class SSBNs and launched practice missiles through the ice.
Over the past 30 years, the Arctic has warmed at roughly the twice the global rate. And the Arctic region is rapidly changing, and its rate of change looks to be accelerating. And the floating sea ice cover of the Arctic Ocean is shrinking, especially in the summer months. And snow cover over land in the Arctic is decreasing, particularly in spring, and glaciers throughout the Arctic are receding. Frozen ground in the Arctic, known as permafrost, is warming and thawing in many regions.
I was fortunate enough to go under the North Pole twice in my submarine career, once in 1989 and once in 1996. I was navigator the first time and captain the second time. They were only 7 years apart, but between 1989 and 1996, the scarcity of the ice was noticeable. And in fact, on the second trip, I took a scientist from the Scott Polar Research Institute who was there specifically to measure ice thickness. We went on a grid pattern around the North Pole and measured the ice thickness. And this gentleman, Peter Wadhams is his name, still works for Scott Polar Research, I think, in Cambridge. He had been in a submarine in 1976. So this was 20 years between the two, and he noted the significant difference from those two. But I even noticed it in 7 years.
Scientists believe that the Arctic will be completely ice-free by 2050, during the summers at least, and I think they believe that it's going to happen a lot sooner than that. With that in mind, I think that the strategic importance of the Arctic will grow as more ice melts and as countries are able to kind of move into the region more and do more things with it, whether that's commercially or military or anything in that sense.